Hello everyone. Today is April 24th, 2012. According to the USGS, there have been 7,403 earthquakes in the past 30 days. The earthquakes shown on this map have taken place within the past 7 days and are greater than 2.5 on the scale. This area here is what's known as the Ring of Fire, with this being the west coast of the U.S. Let's see what this is right here. Okay, that's Indio, California. We're on the 24th. They had a 4.2. Up this way should be Canada or Alaska, Port Hardy, Canada, and they had one down here. It's a 4.4. It's off of the side of the screen. It's hard to see. But in any case, there's been 7,400 of these earthquakes just in the past 30 days. North Korea is expected to conduct its third nuclear test since 2009, soon. North Korea has almost completed preparations for a third nuclear test, a senior source with close ties to Pyongyang and Beijing told Reuters, which will draw further international condemnation following a failed rocket launch if it goes ahead. The isolated and impoverished state sacrificed the chance of closer ties with the United States when it launched the long-range rocket on April 13th and was censored by the UN Security Council, including the North's sole major ally, China. Critics say the rocket launch was aimed at honing the North's ability to develop an intercontinental ballistic missile capable of hitting the United States, a move that would dramatically increase its military and diplomatic heft. Now, the North appears to be about to carry out a third nuclear test after two in 2006 and 2009. Soon, preparations are almost complete, the source said when asked whether North Korea was planning to conduct a nuclear test. The preparations for a nuclear test by the North serves to increase tensions between the two Koreas, and especially in light of North Korea's recent threat, North Korea to turn South's leadership to ashes. North Korea sharply escalated the rhetoric against its southern rival, claiming it will soon conduct special actions that would reduce South Korea's conservative government to ashes within minutes. Monday's threat from the North's military leadership comes amid concerns that North Korea may be plotting another provocation in the wake of an unsuccessful rocket launch condemned by the UN Secretary Council as a violation of a ban against missile activity. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon urged North Korea to refrain from further provocative measures, telling reporters in New York late Monday that such actions will not be desirable for the peace and stability of the Korean Peninsula. North Korea characterized the April 13th rocket launch as a failed bid to send the satellite into space, not a disguised test of missile technology as Washington and Seoul claim. 2 days after the attempt, Pyongyang unveiled a new long-range missile at a military birthday parade for late President Kim Il-sung. There's more on the story if you guys care to read it. I'll put the link in the box below. The Philippines to seek counsel from the U.S. in standoff over Chinese ships. The Philippines plan to seek counsel from the United States military over its 2-week standoff with Chinese ships operating in the Scarborough Shoal, a new step in the simmering dispute. Chinese officials have repeatedly expressed their commitment to resolving tensions in the area through diplomatic channels. China recently removed 2 ships from the area to mitigate the conflict, stressing that it was de-escalating the situation. Philippine leaders said Monday that they would bring up the issue when they met with U.S. officials next week. The ruling Chinese Communist Party strikes a tougher note when U.S. involvement in the dispute is concerned. After the U.S. launched into 2 weeks of annual military drills with the Philippines last week, one commentary argued it was a clear provocation. Anyone with clear eyes saw long ago that behind these drills is reflected a mentality that will lead the South China Sea issue down a fork in the road towards military confrontation and resolution through armed force, argued the recent commentary in the Legal Daily, a mouthpiece of the People's Liberation Army. Now there's more to this story, and I'll put the link in the box below if you guys care to read that. But now we're going to move on to the Middle East. Escalating violence in Syria may be leading country into civil war. The United Nations Secretary Ban Ki-moon has said the situation in Syria remains highly precarious. There's a video here that you guys may want to check out. I'll leave the link in the box below. The UN has reached a preliminary deal with the Syrian government on rules governing the deployment of observers to monitor an agreed ceasefire. Mr. Ban said he has seen troubling evidence of ongoing violence. U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton called for a global arms embargo and further sanctions if the government continues to break the ceasefire. The BBC's Ian Pennell in northern Syria reports seeing numerous breaches of the ceasefire over the last week. Our correspondent says he saw a helicopter gunship firing on villages in the Jabal Zawiya area, killing at least 2 people. Foreign ministers from the Friends of Syria coalition meeting in Paris on Thursday evening agreed that the ceasefire and Kofi Annan's 6-point peace plan were the last hope of avoiding civil war in Syria. Mrs. Clinton called for a Security Council resolution to impose UN sanctions on Syria if President Bashar al-Assad blocked the monitor's mission. The Friends of Syria group includes Western and Arab nations, but not Russia or China, who have blocked previous attempts to introduce UN sanctions. Mrs. Clinton said she had met her Russian counterpart, Sergei Lavrov, earlier in the day, and he recognized that the situation in Syria was deteriorating. The French Foreign Minister, Alain Juppé, said that if the UN-backed peace plan failed, Syria would be on the path to civil war. Mr. Juppé warned the situation in Syria could spill out to the wider region and said several hundred international monitors were needed. Mr. Ban stressed Syria's responsibility to provide unfettered access and use of helicopters to the monitors, the first of whom arrived this week. The agreement reached in Damascus does not include access to aircraft, according to the Reuters news agency. It is also not clear how freely observers will be permitted to move around under the terms agreed with the Syrian authorities. Mr. Ban said he wants the UN observer mission to increase to 300 to be deployed over 3 months. Some correspondents say the Security Council, which is not due to make a decision on the mission until next week, may be afraid to put unarmed observers on the ground if the situation continues to deteriorate. The UN chief said such a deployment would not be without risk, but UN supervisors with a clear mandate and the right capacity would contribute to improving the situation on the ground. He also called on Syria to allow UN agencies to mount a major humanitarian field operation, which he said was needed to help the estimated 1 million people affected by the uprising. Okay, there's more on this story, as you can see, and it's really getting to be kind of hairy over there, because if this situation degrades into a civil war, then it's likely Turkey will jump in, Israel may jump in. If Israel jumps in, the U.S. may have to jump in, because Syria, it's well known that Syria has weapons of mass destruction, both biological and chemical. They had at one point been working on nuclear, but I think they were stopped by the Israelis. But in any case, this is a story that is certainly worth keeping an eye on. North America. I Spy in the Sky is coming soon. Drones to soar over U.S. and Canada sooner than thought. Non-military agencies have been gearing up to get unmanned drones in the sky across America, and now it looks like those controversial aircraft will soon be heading north as well. Not only are surveillance drones expected to soar in droves across American airspace in the not-so-distant future, but now it has been confirmed that authorities in Canada have successfully followed through with test flights of the unmanned aircraft for their own use. A spokesman for CAE Inc., which is located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, has confirmed that a series of test flights have occurred in recent weeks as the country looks forward to purchasing drones for domestic use, according to CAE's Vice President Pietro de Ulyssi. The capabilities of the craft will be a great asset for law enforcement across Canada. Much like the use of simulation and training, the use of unmanned systems for a range of civil applications has the potential to enhance safety, increase efficiency, and save money. We look forward to continuing to work closely with aeronautics regulatory authorities and potential customers as we demonstrate these capabilities, de Ulysses reports in a recent press release. It has been revealed in recent months that the U.S. Department of Homeland Security has been operating an arsenal of similar unmanned surveillance craft to keep close watch on American borders with Mexico. On the horizon, however, are plans to extend that program domestically from coast to coast, authorizing smaller jurisdictions to operate spy missions by themselves in their own airspace. As the U.S. considers furthering plans that will put added fleets of surveillance drones under the command of local law enforcement departments, though, Canada is also embarking in endeavors that will essentially put all of North America under watch from above. Well, the days of the eye in the sky are here, people. In Luke chapter 21, verses 8 through 11, this is Jesus speaking, and he said, "Take heed that you do not be deceived, for many will come in my name, saying, I am he. And the time has drawn near. Therefore do not go after them. But when you hear of wars and commotions, do not be terrified, for these things must come to pass first, but the end will not come immediately." Then he said to them, "Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there will be great earthquakes in various places, and famines and pestilences, and there will be fearful sights and great signs from heaven." Friends, we are living in the last days, and even though we do not know the exact day or the hour, we will know when it is at the door. Are you saved? Follow the link below, say the prayer sincerely, and you will be saved. God bless you all.